With Eric Cartman, TVs just aren't safe, pal. Not even schools are safe. Cartman is clearly the most destructive resident of South Park, hands down. We're about to find out how much he has cost the town in property damage over the last 26 seasons of the show, starting with the episode, The Death of Eric Cartman. Butters is just the sweetest little guy ever, and he 100% deserved that invitation to Casa Bonita. What he definitely didn't deserve was for Cartman to steal his place by faking an apocalypse and locking him in a bomb shelter for 3 days. Sadly, that's just one of the many examples of Eric treating poor Butters like garbage, so let's keep talking about it. The episode opens with the fat, selfish frickhole eating all the skin off the fried chicken Sharon bought for the kids to share. Stan, Kyle, and Kenny are so pissed they vow to never speak to Eric ever again, or even acknowledge that he even exists.
Stan, it's me, Eric. Kenny, you want 50 cents? I'm right here.
Not being the sharpest tool in the shed, Eric concludes that he died from that explosive diarrhea.
Now he's a ghost who can't be seen or heard by anyone. The next morning, Butters talks to Eric. But after learning he's a ghost, he runs away thinking his life has turned into that of a horror movie, specifically The Sixth Sense. His parents find him cowering in a cupboard and try to comfort him by making him afraid of even worse stuff. There's plenty of real things to be scared of. Super AIDS. A new form of AIDS which is resistant to drugs. Oh Jesus. Ghosts don't exist and there's nothing to be afraid of except for Super AIDS. Honestly, I was expecting Butters to get grounded for believing in ghosts. Poor kid gets grounded for everything.
Little dude can't help the face he was born with. Anyway, the Super AIDS talk don't make Butters any less scared of ghosts, so when Eric suddenly appears in his room that night, I'm sure he almost fracking shat himself. For some reason, Cartman's spirit is trapped here on Earth, and he believes it's because he needs to make amends with all the people he's been a fracking frick to. And as Butters is the only one who can hear him, he's gonna have to do all the talking.
Eric wants you to know that he's sorry for all the times he made fun of you for being a no-good stinking Jew. He's asking for your forgiveness. Remember the good times? There were no good times. He can just tell me himself. God forgave the Jews. You should be able to forgive me. All right, come on, Butters. We gotta go tell Token I'm sorry for ripping on him for being black.
After apologizing to everyone, including Mr. Kitty and Butters, Cartman's soul is finally at peace and he's ready to climb the stairway to heaven, but it never shows up. Butters tells Eric all the apologizing wasn't enough and he has to atone for something bad he did. The boys make a list of all of Cartman's evil deeds, like trying to kill Kenny for a PSP, exterminating hippies, and committing property damage.
I broke Mr. Anderson's fence.
Including Mr. Kitty and Butters, Cartman's soul is finally at peace, and he's ready to climb the stairway to heaven, but it never shows up. Butters tells Eric all the apologizing wasn't enough, and he has to atone for something bad he did. The boys make a list of all of Cartman's evil deeds, like trying to kill Kenny for a PSP, exterminating hippies, and committing property damage. I broke Mr. Anderson's fence and never told him about it. I took a crap in the principal's purse 7 times. The list is super long, but Cartman is determined to make everything right and gets to work making fruit baskets for everyone he's hurt. With his soul finally at peace, it's time for Eric to gain his angel wings and fly high into the sky. Nothing happens again, and not receiving the eternal bliss he wanted from God makes Eric pretty darn pissed. What he does next proves exactly why he deserves nothing but eternal fire when he does die. You think of chick magic. Stupid guy. Unlike that big bone devil, Butters is guaranteed a place in heaven when he dies.
Our wiener sizes? Says right there, Eric Cartman, 1.2 inches. They want to measure my wiener? Fine, but don't put me on blast.
The measurements are really just how much taller the boys have grown since last year's physical, but Cartman is way too upset about everyone learning he has a baby wiener to think rationally. To protect his own ego, Eric forces all the boys to get their measured, and being totally not gay, he volunteers to conduct every examination himself.
Whip it out, Butters. All right, Butters, let's see what you got going on down there. Hey, wait, the cold is making it shrink some. I can't wait if your wiener is pulling a scared turtle. There he is. Who's a little guy? Looks like we have, wow, 2.4 inches. Really nice, Butters.
After putting himself at the top of the growth chart with a very believable 13.7-inch wee-wee, Kyle and Stan demand he get remeasured with witnesses. When the actual boy's size growth chart is published, Cartman is right at the bottom with a 1.4. Measuring the private parts of other students unsurprisingly gets Eric sent straight to the principal's office, and he later ends up in anger management. Another member of the South Park Small Society, Randy Marsh, joins him in anger management after punching a doctor for discrediting his ridiculous size adjustment theory, and Mr. Marsh is just as much trouble as Eric Cartman.
Yeah, dude! Yeah!
All fired up, the microscopic club storms the FedEx and unleashes their built-up rage over being smaller than average.
Yeah, dude!
Let's see how the American government likes it!
Pissed off, an angry party ends up destroying the entire FedEx and setting it on fire. Knowing how angry Eric was, there's no way he didn't help destroy that whole office with his hammer, so let's add $100,000 worth of damages to his property damage debt. It's funny how Cartman thinks calling the other boys gay is some kind of sick burn when he is clearly the gayest kid in South Park. Let's look at the evidence. He's off Ben Affleck.
with his hammer. So, let's add $100,000 worth of damages to his property damage debt. It's funny how Cartman thinks calling the other boys gay is some kind of sick burn when he is clearly the gayest kid in South Park. Let's look. The evidence. He's off Ben Affleck. Oh God, Jenny. Oh, sick. Graped Butters. You're not going to stick something yakey in my mouth, are you? I swear on my mother's life, Butters. Okay. All right. You ready? Just sit really still. Okay. Here we go. Badass. Add a major cross on a life-size Justin Timberlake cardboard cutout. Come on, Justin. Touch my body. Ooh, Justin. Yeah. Check out my nice hot body. Wow, kid. You're a little. And has literally broken into the Pentagon twice to force Kyle to suck his balls. Cartman, that kid, you have made a bet that if I could prove I saw a leprechaun, he would suck my burn.
Cartman, don't.
What are you doing to my bows? It's Kyle sucking my bows!
Cartman did something when he was little that he actually seriously regrets, and I'm not talking about being a raging anti-Semite at just 4 years old.
Badass, don't call me fat, you stupid Jew!
See, when Eric and the boys were little, they used to play with their wieners a lot. It's already a great start. They loved playing fireman the most, and one day they asked the toughest boy in preschool, Trent Boyett, to start a fire for them to put out like real firemen. Unfortunately, the boys hadn't drunk enough juice boxes that day, so Miss Claridge caught fire and now lives her life severely disabled and unable to speak. The boys let Trent take all the blame, and he got locked away in juvenile hall for the next 5 years. When the day of his release finally arrives, the boys fear for their lives, especially after learning about these horrific injuries Trent inflicted on Butters.
He received a massive snuggie. His underwear pulled up so high it nearly killed him. 2 Indian sunburns on his forearms and a second-degree titty twister. He was also given a swirly.
The boys decide to recruit 6th grade bullies to protect them, but they won't help unless Stan gives them a pic of his mom's titty. Sharon doesn't have any nudes just lying around the house, so they're forced to photograph Cartman's bare ass and pretend that his fat cheeks are a middle-aged woman's double D's.
These are like the hottest tits I've ever seen.
Give me that! I knew she had a hot rack!
Those are so hot.
Okay, so now you'll help us take care of Trent Boyett?
I bet Eric's feeling so confident right about now. Everyone's calling him hot. Nobody's ever called him that before, except maybe those non-blood. The bullies promise to teach Trent Boyett a lesson. The boys celebrate their freedom with ice cream. However, they soon find out that their bully is tougher than every other bully in South Park combined.
Jesus Christ, I've never seen so many Indian sunburns and titty twisters in my life.
The boys have no one else to turn to but Shelly, but she'll only beat up Trent if the boys confess to Miss Claridge about what really happened the day of the fire. They find the poor lady stuck in the middle of the same road she broke down in yesterday and are about to tell the truth when Trent suddenly appears ready to dish.
Everyone's calling him hot. Nobody's ever called him that before, except maybe those Namble. The bullies promise to teach Trent Boyett a lesson. And the boys celebrate their freedom with ice cream. However, they soon find out that their bully is tougher than every other bully in South Park combined. Music, Jesus Christ, I've never seen so many Indian sunburns and titty twisters in my life. Boys have no one else to turn to but Shelly. But she'll only beat up Trent if the boys confess to Miss Claridge about what really happened the day of the fire. They find the poor lady stuck in the middle of the same road she broke down in yesterday and are about to tell the truth when Trent suddenly appears ready to dish out some third-degree titty twisters. Fearing for the safety of his nipples, Eric whips out his mom's taser. Unfortunately, his aim is just as bad as it was when he tried to pee on that fire 5 years ago. Damn it. Eric blames everything on Trent again, and he gets shipped off right back to juvie for another 5 years. Garden will be in for a major beating when he gets out, but for the time being, he's got bigger things to worry about, like those 6th graders who think his ass is the hottest pair in the world. Oh my god. Well, that's half of Cartman's destruction antics against South Park down.
We still need to get through. The girls once voted Eric the second ugliest boy in class. Kyle was number 1. And that's just based on what he looks like normally. He'd definitely make the bottom of the list if all the girls saw him that time he stuck Scott Tenorman's pubes to his face.
I'm here to collect $10 that you owe in back taxes.
You glued my pubes onto your face.
What about that time he became one with his trapper keeper? Trapper Keeper Cartman's desire for destruction was almost as strong as Leanne's insatiable urge for and this huge bulbous monstrosity destroyed a bunch of other stuff on his way to Cheyenne Mountain.
We are Trapper Keeper.
Even as a grotesque, revolting monster, I bet Cartman still believed he was way hotter than Kyle. NASCAR racers are totally poor and stupid, at least according to Eric Cartman. Being the richest, most intelligent kid in the entire world, he stands no chance of fulfilling his dreams of becoming a dumb, poverty-stricken racer, and Kyle and Stan find him bawling in the school hallway.
Cartman, you are poor and you are stupid.
I know you're trying to make me feel better, Kyle.
Dude, you are so
Thanks, Dan, but even if I was, I'd still be too rich.
Eric decides to chase his dream and gives away his life savings to Butters. He's now poorer than that time he had to glue an iPad cover to a piece of glass, but he's still way too smart for NASCAR. The race is coming up soon, so little Mr. Einstein will need to find a way to destroy his brain cells fast. How's he gonna do it? Traumatic brain injury? Nope. A glass full of lead? Nah. Eating a frack ton of Vagisil? Oh yeah.
Is there anybody coming?
No, you're good.
Going to do it. Traumatic brain injury? Nope. A glass full of lead? Nah. Eating a frack ton of Vagisil? Oh yeah. Is anybody coming? No, you're good. I can't help you. Little boy, what are you doing? Oh my god. Butters, I feel kind of stupid. Garmin is ready for NASCAR. And dang, that cell worked well because only someone with 0 brain cells could cause a catastrophe as awful as this. Applause, music. Eric ended up in a hospital with 2 fractured ribs, a broken femur, a level 2 concussion, plus 3 small in his stomach. And honestly, this hospital bill is probably going to cost more than all that property damage. Now, Cartman doesn't really pay attention in history class, but he was able to
Rehearsing for the annual Civil War reenactment, and Eric was the drummer.
Oh, well, you know what I say? I'm going home. You. Later.
The morning of the reenactment, Cartman shows up dressed as General Lee, the commander of the South. He vows to whoop the North's butt and bets Kyle that if the South loses, he'll be his slave for a whole month. The reenactment begins, and yeah, the Union destroys the Confederates. Apart from the live audience and the lack of blood, everything is just like the history books, until Cartman shows up.
Hey, what's that guy doing?
Long live the Confederacy!
Hey, he took the bell.
Hooray for the South!
Cartman, you can't do that!
Now we have to start over.
The next day, everyone is preparing for a second reenactment, but Eric refuses to lose to the North and persuades his Confederate troops to be victorious this time around. Tired of being the Union's every year, Cartman's army agrees to kick the frackin' frick out of the North during the reenactment. The South celebrates its victory with plenty of alcohol, and it doesn't take much for Cartman to convince a bunch of drunken soldiers to invade Kansas and take Topeka for him. And by take, I mean utterly destroy.
These are blanks, but they still hurt like hell. It's ours! It's ours! We've taken Topeka!
After taking Topeka by force, the Confederates also conquer Chattanooga, Tennessee. Cartman was very determined to make Stan and Kyle his slaves and planned on
His army ran out of booze. And once they sobered up, all of them realized how dumb they were, risking their lives in battle just so a 10-year-old tabloid could win a bet against his friends. Cartman's deranged actions are probably going to get him charged with all kinds of war crimes. But let's talk about the mass property damage he's responsible for. His troops invaded Topeka and Chattanooga and sent both cities up in flames. Both are small cities with populations of less than 200,000. Cartman's army destroyed the entire cities. So, all the carnage likely accumulated at least $50 million worth of property damage in total. But hey, at least he never became Stan and Kyle's slave. And he hurt a butt-ton though when they ripped his beard off. Music, applause. Trey Parker definitely needed a cough drop after that. Actually, maybe like fracking 10. I don't know. While the __ may look like something straight out of a furry Comic-Con, he's just Eric Cartman's lame supervillain alter ego. In the episode, _ versus _ in Friends, a BP oil company drills into the ocean floor, accidentally unleashing Cthulhu, an ancient evil god from another dimension that defies all explanation. The _ teams up with the monster and banishes Stan, Kyle, and the other superheroes to the dark oblivion as revenge for kicking him out of _ and Friends after he beat up Clyde and Bradley for no reason. That's 6 douchebags down, but there's so many other a-holes for the _ to eradicate that he's had to make a list. We've taken out most of the synagogues, destroyed San Francisco. Next order of business will be Burning Man. Harmon said he wiped out most of the synagogues and completely destroyed San Francisco. That there's approximately 3,700 synagogues in the US. Assuming 90% were destroyed by the _ and Cthulhu. Worth at least $330 million. Synagogues are fancy places. Let's not forget about San Francisco, though. The Golden Gate City has a population of 873,965. Considering all the buildings, bridges, vehicles, and other kinds of personal property that must have been destroyed, I'd estimate that Eric has about $1 billion worth of property damage to answer for. And the destruction doesn't even stop there. The next day, the Cthulhu head to the Burning Man festival. Now, it's time to make the world a better place by exterminating all those peace-loving Teds. Hippies, all you Cthulhu is bringing his angry wrath down upon the Burning Man festival. Tom, Burning Man is the biggest hippie festival in the world. The festival never usually attracts more than 100,000 people. So, Cartman is probably responsible for damaging at least 35,000 RVs, 50,000 tents, 50,000 bikes, and of course, a ton of bongs, sliders, grinders, and rolling papers. definitely at least 100,000 of them in total. Altogether, Eggs racked up $1,468,200,000 worth of property damage during his hippie murder spree alone. The flower children are all dead, but there's still one more thing the _ must do to save the Earth. Eradicate his most challenging and evil opponent, Justin Bieber. Yep, that's him. You little douchebag. Poor Justin. He's been pelted with water bottles, almost got assaulted by Lois Griffin and Family Guy, and now a god of death just crushed him like a little singing M&M. Sucks to be him. Being Eric Carbon sucks more though. All that property damage he's committed throughout the show has racked up a grand total of $5,850,969,856. The mayor needs to banish this kid from South Park forever. But how bad does his mountain of property damage seem in comparison to what these characters have done?